Good morning. I'll call to order today's regular meeting of the Zoning and Planning Committee.
Changing the structure from a 42-foot building to a 56-foot building changes it from quaint to gargantuan.
A height of 59 feet. In this case, we're looking at 56. You see yardsticks here.
Brav, mein Junge.
And then Irina, who's a world-famous concert pianist and music lecturer at their university. Next person, come on up.
Tear downs all around.
It is clearly visible. There are hills on both sides, and you cannot avoid seeing visually the gargantuan nature of what has been proposed. Gargantuan.
I'd rather not have it in my neighborhood.
This is to make the project cash flow. Variances cannot be granted to make a project cash flow.
Myself, and I'm sure many others who were either indifferent or supported the original project, were intimidated into silence by the opposition. It is only now that I no longer live in the neighborhood that I have found the courage to speak up.
Hey, I'm talking to you, McFly, you Irish bug. Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think, McFly, think.
I fell in love with Paris when I went there, and one of the things I noticed, they had 3-story or 4-story buildings.
Densifying the population brings a lot of good things to life. When I grew up there, the Dunn Brothers building was a grocery store. Across the street, the hardware store was a grocery store. And if we have enough middle-class market there, we will again.
And we talk about density, but we're talking about density for upper middle class. We're not talking about density for diversity. I'd rather see diversity than all this density.
I think we're hearing a tension between the desire for shorter buildings, for really nice building materials, and then the affordability of housing. And that's a policy question I think we need to continue to ask across the city. I don't know. I don't consider $1 million condos necessarily middle class. I mean,
So a developer wants to add a partial 4th story, and they bust people in to testify.
A property that my wife and I purchased in April of 2014, and by the way, I drove here, I wasn't bussed.
I'm your council member, and I'm also your neighbor. I've lived in Linden Hills for 15 years.
I moved into the Linden Hills neighborhood in 1976.
I've lived there for 32 years, so I've seen a lot of changes.
I've lived in Linden Hills for about 24 years.
My name is Mark Dwyer. I have lived in Linden Hills for 20 years.
Mr. Dwyer, I appreciate your 20 years in the neighborhood. I'll trump you. I've been there now for 44, going on 45.
I'm concerned about parking. I'm concerned about the parking issue. The original proposal had 2 floors of underground parking reduced to 1 floor of underground parking. Nobody can move in our neighborhood because there is no parking. If there is going to be less parking, that's ridiculous. That's additional parking problems, increased crowds around our little intersection.
I would like to encourage all of you on the committee here to encourage us to do one more real significant negotiation.
I frequently visit this node. I think it's a beautiful place of our city. I bike down with my 2 little girls to go to the many very family-friendly shops there.
But this particular corner does not have high buildings.
Having lived in Atlanta for 21 years, we are all too familiar with the havoc wreaked by rezoning, variance, precedents that compromise or destroy in-town neighborhoods and drive people to the suburbs.
It is quaint. It is not gargantuan.
This particular corner has small buildings, low buildings.
Sets a precedent for other building in this quaint, livable neighborhood.
Sense of charm.
Sort of sense of community, a certain quality of quaintness.
Sense of community.
But I just wonder how many of you have been to that corner and really felt what this means for the human scale and the existing character.
In addition to creating problems such as heat concentration, runoff, and racial and economic disparity.
A new house that's about this far from the next door neighbor. It's just offensive.
We have a planning department hungry for development.
Madam Chair, committee members, my name is Christopher Maddox.
I don't know if you can see him now, but he's about to make the proclamation on behalf of the City of London, I think.
I just want to say a few words. To me, this request is disingenuous. I'm also concerned by character and transition, which are both addressed in the small area plan. Thank you very much.
Tear downs all around.
The Linden Hills community spent $60,000, 18 months, and countless human hours to develop this plan. We worked in good faith. We produced a plan that is in line with the Minneapolis Plan for Sustainable Development and with long-term goals for growing the density in the city. Can we really, as a city, afford to throw out that much human capital?
Does it seem like an end run? Absolutely it does.
The people who have money, who had money to go to the suburbs, now have the money to gentrify our neighborhood.
But this just seemed like it underhanded us. It underhanded what we got together to do. And why can't we go down to the original proposal that we all agreed to? So, and truthfully, I run an architecture firm. I don't really even mind what he's doing because I don't really mind the setback. I am just so disappointed in the process.
That's a win-win for them and a lose-lose for us. And I hope you'll consider that. Thank you.
Thank you.